Dumpling, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Computer Show. They're doing well, so having a wonderful day. What is going on in my hand? I don't even know. Of course, they're doing well, so having a wonderful 26th April 2025. They were doing a Tower Talk. Oh my god. Didn't even put it back on. Today we're doing a Tower Talk, and I'm so excited because you can tell. So we have a lot to talk about. We have some great news. Great news. There's some horrible news, but great news. So let's talk about the horrible news because I only have one. We had our very first drama with the guild. And I know what you're saying. That's the second one? Yes, it is the second one. But the first one, the member that was in question is out. So, my apologies. No harm done. The second drama was, we had this player who wasn't logged in for 8 days. Right? And we have a very different mentality of people, which is really cool because we almost had some clash. Because the guy wasn't there for 8 days, which is okay. I mean, we're pretty lax. And when I say I don't think, I'm 99% sure that we never missed 1 week. Never missed 1 week. We always got all of the rewards. Now we had a new guild season, so we're gonna talk about that, of course. But the person missing, it's not the fact that okay. So if I'm being completely honest, there's a player in my guild. His name is I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right freaking now. His name is Moriarty for 3 weeks now. He's been the number one and partaking in the guild. Like last week he was at 70 points. I was at 30. So 30 for the shield, for the sword, and for the crown, right? So actually some decent things that were going on. Ultimately speaking, I am grateful that we have people like that in my guild. But I don't want it to be automatically like, hey, this guy's gonna save us, right? People have been playing. So it's crazy because last week was the most recent event. People are aware of the guild. People are aware of the rule of the guild. we had I think it was 4 players under 30. And the reason why I'm saying under 30 is because we did 30. We did 30 on the cheap playthrough. So you're gonna talk about people that did less than me or did more than me. There was only 4 people out of 30 that did less than me. So we had points to the utmost, and ultimately speaking, it's nice because you do want to have the guild reward. Like last season, there's a lot less reward for the guild, right, than this season. So what was the drama? The drama is, okay, so we didn't have, there was this clan of people. It's complex because out of the 30 members, maybe 11 or 12 are talking in the guild chat, which is great. I'm grateful for that. I'm super grateful for that. What happened most of the time is the same people. So a couple of people that usually talk were like, hey, as long as we are hitting the rewards, there's not a problem, right? And we had a guy who, it was so funny. He said the gladiator up and down. He said, I don't care. It might feel like more rewards. Like for example, this week we have way more rewards. So I'm actually good enough to remember. Right, so for example, last week we're gonna go into the what do we have versus what is there, which is kind of complex to understand, but trust me. So this week we have a tower in background. We had that last week, so that's null, right? We had a menu, right, which is good. That's null because we had two menus. So a menu last week and a menu this week. We have profile banner. This is +1, right? We have the guardian. We have 2 guardian. So there's one of them that's null. That's +2. Right, for a total of 250 token, right? We still have the same relics and the 2 relics, which are the same price. We have the tower, the ship, which is super good this season. Guardian, the fetch is unbelievably good, especially for AFK. It's unbelievably good. So there is a 250 token that is needed. So even though last season, I'm saying last week because the season changed today. Even though last season we never had a problem, it could be a problem at some point, right? They'll keep on adding. The profile banner is actually a huge bonus. So they were talking about how we want to kick out people or keep them, right? And then I was telling people, dude, we have to come together. I'm not gonna take a decision. I'm not a dictator. I want us to be democracy, but I need a yes or a no. Because people will say, yeah, but if I'm like, no, I need a yes or a no, you know? So then we get the person, because the person ended up logging in that day, right? Or then we have this other person in my guild who's logging in every single day, which technically means that they're partaking. However, they're not doing their mission. They're playing enough to get the logging or something like that. And after a week, they had 5 points. I'm like, dude, you know. But then, you know, it's all good, because if my guild, see, the end is the mean. The need is the mother of all invention. So if people say we need to kick them out, people are gonna get offended, or not offended, but they're gonna get more sure about the subject, right? Right now, I'm a guild master, so I'm in a tough position because I'm not an authoritative person. I'm more like laid back, relaxed, right? But if it was to happen, if it was to be a case of, hey, we need to take a decision, I don't know what people would choose. I don't know if people would choose to kick that person out or not, and then I have to be the guy who's mindful of buddy's opinion. So I want to keep that up, right? Now, the good news, because that's the bad news. It's not a big drama, but it is, because last week, okay, so my point of view, which is, again, I'm overstepping my boundaries, but again, I don't really care. Last week was more so a case of, guys, we don't have to rush. We don't have a close need to change something right now. We're still good. We're still in a good position. We don't have to change, but soon we're gonna have to change. And this week we have a 250 more, right? And even then, there was this guy who, the first person that we had drama with, would complain, and it was a bit too intense, because he was always complaining about people not being active enough or people not partaking enough. There was this discussion that we had where he was saying, this person is logging in every day but doesn't make points, right? And again, I told you guys the same thing. This person logs in every day but made 5 points. It's not a problem, because we don't need the results. But I'm like, dude, you're playing part of a guild, right? So you have to do the guild mission. And again, it's kind of cool because out of 30 people, 12 of us are talking in the guild, and some of them are super opinionated. So they'll talk about, hey, I'm playing this game where there's a guild system, and that guild system is actually a lot more strict, right? So we're still good, but they have a little bit more experience, and this other person's like, yeah, but the guild is not like that for now. The good positive point. So we're gonna be talking about the guild first of all. We're gonna be talking about our situation, which is also really good. So the situation right now that we have is we have a new it's so fucking cool. It is so fucking cool, the guild, because the first guild was Crown, and Crown was perfect because we have our main playthrough, which is Crown. So the fact that we had a Crown tower background was perfect. But then again, you don't want a tower crown for shield or sword, so it was kind of, But then we have the Mesh Warrior, and the Mesh Warrior feels really Transformer-ish, which is really cool. The background is super nice. Now, technically speaking, there's a bit of a complaint there, but it's super cool. The bit of the complaint here, which is super cool, is, so for example, right, I'm going to show you. So the Mesh Warrior is right here, super nice. You got this and this are the same thing. This and this are the same thing. Don't buy shit yet, bro. The promo banner and the tower are there you go. The menu and the background are the same thing, right? Now the profile banner is a bit different, but it's the same thing also, which is cool. The complaint would be like, hey, it's a bit too similar. However, if you really like, so Mesh Warrior is possibly one of my favorites so far. There's a lot of my favorites. So in my favorites, we'll go with the sword, the crown, because that's what I have the most. My favorites are possibly through this nightmare, I can control myself. So what if you can see like a side of me? No one will ever change this animal I have become. My favorite team is possibly the Default, which is really nice. I have Sauron, which is super cool. We'll go with Cherry Blossom, which the background is really nice. We'll go with Sheep. I love Sheep at his own. Mush is super cool. We have Prism, which is really nice. New Turbo, it's only cool. New Turbo is but it's only cool when you have the background that goes with it. Howling Wolf, super nice. Howling Wolf was one of my first one. We had the Dark Tower is actually pretty cool. The Dark Tower is only cool when you have the effect. We have the Fisherman, which is cool because when you have the Golden Tower, he sings. And then you have the Noise Tower, we only have a good background. And that's it. Black Hole would be good for shield, right? So these are my favorites. So the Mesh World is possibly one of the favorites. And I know what you're saying, dude. You gave us a lot of your favorites. I give you less than half of what I have. To the store, we do have the Mesh Warrior. The background, the profile banner is super cool because I hope that you'll see this when you work in tournament. That would be so cool. The Guardian, we have two choices. Now, technically speaking, we have a cat. We had a dog before. We also have a shark. So the shark could be cool for the sword. Could be really cool for the sword. But the best thing about it, the whole guild season, is the guardianship. The guardianship, the fetch is unbelievable. It's so fucking cool. It's you have a chance to find hidden loot, gem, shards. It is so good for AFK players. It is so freaking good. It is so freaking good. It just rendered the AFK aspect even more beneficial. Even more beneficial. So it is good. It is not great. So it rendered every single AFK playthrough much more desirable. However, when we're actually playing and we're clicking the diamond, it doesn't serve any purpose, right? But now that it's hidden, you get even more rewards, right? So if the fetch was only for the rewards for your clicking, that would have been cool. But now that we have both, it makes the whole thing super, super, super useful. And finally, we have my good news for the tower playthrough. So the first good news that we have is we're back at 9. So I know. Okay, so here's the mentality. So I was at 9 when we started. Or I was at 9 like 2 months ago. And then people at my guild, they were like, no, you have to be in 1 because you're doing more coin. And you're getting more. But at 1, we had a complete stoppage. I wasn't able to buy everything that I needed. I wasn't able to maintain some of that I needed, right? So the 9 is actually better. Now, technically speaking, we're in a bit of bad position, but it's a great thing. So we might be working next week, and we might be starting at 40 hours next week. So I should have done it the 90, the tier 9 for the end. Now, if we're playing when we're sleeping, which I don't think we're going to be doing, the 9 is destructive. The 1 is the best way to do it. But 9, right now we're going back to 9, so we're going to be able to have some, we're going to be able to have somewhat of a plus. So why we chose to 9? Okay, well, because yesterday, my phone broke, the crown phone broke. You can see here, there's a little crack, you can tell, right? I can actually tell a little bit, right? So the screen wasn't working. We missed a tournament, and I was like, dude, not only did you miss a tournament, but it wasn't that time that you had a tournament that you were proud of. It's been a while, so I was like, okay, well, let's switch to something that's more beneficial. We're back to 9. 9 feels like the right thing to do. 9 feels like the right thing to do. Like, for example, we have 27B on the shield, which we never have. And then on the sword, we have 5Bs. You see the difference? It's all from Black Hole. It's all from Black Hole. Would the fetch gonna be better? But still. My apologies. So yeah, this is the good news. We'll see how it goes. In a perfect world, what I would like to do, in a perfect world, I would like to increase perks. So I'm going to be working soon, so the perks are going to be super important to upgrade. If I could upgrade some weapons. So see, the problem that I have with both playthroughs, I'm trying to be, you can kind of see that I'm more negative today, but I'm being more like, because we're not progressing enough. We're not progressing enough. I have a lot of games that I'm liking. I'm not progressing enough, which is bad. What was I talking about? See, we've got ADHD, so it's harder. I don't know what to increase, because with this word, what I could increase is actually like something. The easiest thing to increase would be Spotlight, which would be also really good. However, Spotlight right now isn't good to increase because Spotlight doesn't touch a lot of, and this word doesn't touch a lot of the enemies. So if it was touching more enemies, I would increase Spotlight. So the only thing that I have right now is possibly Chain Lightning to increase. Of course, I like my ultimate weapon. So it increased Chain Lightning and Death Wave. Death Wave, we did increase it a lot. So it's not easy to increase. So the only one that I have is Chain Lightning. But once I upgrade Chain Lightning, what am I supposed to upgrade? And on the shield, I can increase two things. I can increase my inner landmine, and then what? I can increase what? Chrono Field. That's pretty much it, right? Because the other one I need to activate them. For example, the Chrono Field works Wander, the Black Hole. The Black Hole, we're at a point right now where it's almost perfect. The only that I could want is for it to be more so permanent. But there's so little time. There's so little time in between us being at a plus. How can I say that? There's so little time between us being at a maximum of usage available for the Black Hole. I cannot talk tonight. I can't talk. I'm tired. I'm not feeling good. There's so little time in between the usage of the Black Hole. Like, there's a couple of seconds. So it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. And that's pretty much it. So these are the good news. We're back at 9. We're going to be working. We're going to be going to 1. But we'll see. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.